What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. This was actually suggested by a few people in the comments section wanting to know basically what my current collection consists of. Now, I did a video a while back, in this exact same spot showing this exact same box, but I only showed the first 2 or 3 drawers. And then I tried to make it dramatic and be like, oh, you're not going to find out what's in here. It's not really that spectacular. But basically, it was a good opportunity to do a collection update video and kind of a walk around of my current EDC setup. So I'm going to do that. So thank you again to the gentleman who suggested this. It was a couple of guys, but one of them I think was Mr. Reyes, who I just referred to you as the toilet guy because he makes the same comment every week. He likes to view my Knife Guy series in the throne room on Sunday morning. So anyways, thank you for suggesting this. This was a fun idea. I'll go ahead and walk you guys through each drawer. Everything you're going to see is everything that I currently own in my collection. Now, I'm not going to show anybody else's knives, just my own knives and everything that's in my current knife rotation and EDC setup. So this box was something that my wife got for me off either eBay or Amazon. I don't know exactly where you can get it. I know they run anywhere from $100 to $200. There's different setups. There's this lighter wood. There's darker wood. I don't know where she got it, but somebody in the comments section on the last video, multiple people in the comments section kind of figured it out, and so it shouldn't be that hard to find. So this top drawer is my primary EDC rotation. These are the knives that I find myself carrying more often than anything else. You can see here the Spyderco Manix 2 that has been customized with the Allen Putnam scales, and then I've got the titanium Flytanium cage in there as well as the deep carry pocket clip. That's one that we see quite a bit on the channel. This is the, once again, gonna have to set my phone to airplane mode. That's almost a running joke on this channel so that it's not interrupted. This is the Curtis Knives ODT. This was a gift from Jeff, Mr. Jeff Goodnow, who provides a lot of knives for content on this channel. I love this thing and I carry it all the time. So it's definitely in my top drawer. Really, really like that thing. It's also fun to just carry a little custom knife. Of course, the Ritter Hogue RSK MK1 G2. That's definitely an EDC favorite. My customized PM2. This is a regular PM2 that's got some custom kind of jade scales on it. It's also got the Flytanium backspacer as well as the MXG deep carry pocket clip. This is the Line Steel TRE in M390 and all titanium. This is kind of my primary gentleman's carry folder. It doesn't get carried a lot, but if I go to special events, I definitely carry that one. That was a gift from my wife. This is the Pmp Knives Revenge. This was a gift from Harry or Shaker MT down in the comments section. I really, really like this knife and I carry it a lot. It's got a chunk of my fingernail there on the end. Spyderco Shaman, of course. Spyderco Shaman gets carried all the time. So that's definitely one that stays in the top there. And then, of course, the Microtech SOCOM Elite. Kind of like the Line Steel TRE. It doesn't get carried as much, but it definitely does get carried. I love this knife. It's the opposite of the Line Steel TRE. It's just very big and very aggressive and does not get carried nearly as much. Let's move on to the second drawer here. So the second drawer, some knives in here are knives that I carry. Some knives in here are knives that I don't carry, and for different reasons. The first one here, this is the Delica, the ZDP 189 version of the Delica. This knife basically serves as a size comparison. It's not really a knife that I enjoy very much for myself. It's a great knife. It's just not one that I really carry. It's in here because it's still a fairly expensive knife and I want easy access to it. This is a knife that I just reviewed, the Pmp Knives or Pmp Designs Hornet. It's something that Harry gave to me as a gift. It's in the second drawer because I just haven't really used it yet, and I'm still playing with it, and I haven't really decided where it's going to fit into my EDC rotation or how it's going to fit in, so it's just kind of hanging out in the second drawer. Next knife is a knife that I actually do carry quite often, just not as much as some of these other ones. This is the Red Horse Chopper Midtech. This was a gift from Jeff, and I love this knife. I'm a little bit protective of it because of how much it costs. I guess that's why it's in the second drawer. By the way, guys, the second drawer is not necessarily like a a labeled drawer. You know, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just more so it's just the next drawer down where I put knives that I carry or don't carry for different reasons. Next up is another gift from Harry or Shaker MT. This is the this is the Kaiser Sheepdog XL. This thing is just fun to play with. I get this thing out when I want to kind of show it off to people or just flip something that's just kind of big and ridiculous. Every now and then I'll throw it in my pocket, but it's really big. I definitely notice it so it doesn't get carried nearly as much. The next one here is also a gift. This is from my buddy David, who we don't see nearly as much on the channel anymore. He's a pretty busy guy, but after I helped him kind of figure out, you know, his love for Beg Knives, he ordered this Beg Knives Steelcraft Series 3/4 Quaken for me, and it's one of the smoothest knives that I own. This is an example of how ceramic bearings break in over time, and I'm also very, very protective of it, and so for that reason, it's in the second drawer, I guess. This knife here, I still have not figured out exactly what it is. It's something that has, you know, kind of popped up as an example here and there on my channel, or just something that sits on the table during my Knife Guy series. It says Enox on the blade. It's a Leverletto. It's something that David, you know, had told me if I wanted to, I could review on my channel, and he didn't know much about it either. So someday we'll get to that, but I just don't know enough about it to give a proper review. Next drawer down is more of like knives that I would grab if I had some type of task where I wasn't as concerned about the blade. There are knives in here that I like, there are knives in here that I don't like, and there are knives that I plain just haven't used yet and don't have another place for. The Rat 1 gets used all the time. All the time. It is right there at the front where I need it. Lady of the Sea. This is my primary unboxer, and this is her spot. This is where she rests. This is where she chooses to rest. I don't really have a choice. That's just the drawer that she decided she wanted to be in. This is a CRKT knife that was donated to the channel by a gentleman who goes by the name of Frazier on Instagram, and I haven't done a review on it. I like this knife. It's kind of a fidgety knife. But I just haven't gotten around to the review yet, and I'm definitely going to. But it doesn't get used because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it yet. So it just kind of stays safe here in this third drawer. This is my SE Azula. I'm going to use 2 hands here to unsheath it. It's in this drawer in case I need a fixed blade, but it actually does not get used at all. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it and use it, or if I'm going to get rid of it or, you know, sell it or do a giveaway. I'm not really sure. It sits in that drawer either way. This is the Bird Knives Meadowlark. Is it the Meadowlark 2? It's basically the Delica. This is a beater version of the Delica. I actually like it more than the Delica because of this choke-up position here. This is definitely what I would call a beater knife, and it serves as such. It's a very good beater knife. This is the Ozark Trail green knife. You can see here that this knife gets used for basically whatever. $5 knife. It functions as a knife, and that's all it needs to do. This is the Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops Rescue Black Tanto helicopter bazooka, whatever. I don't like this knife. It's just here. It really should just get thrown in my toolbox, but it's just not safe. And for whatever reason, I can't throw it away, so it's just sitting in there. The Gerber flat iron is in slightly a better position than the Extreme Ops Black Tanto, just because it's got a fairly ergonomic design and it is a sharp blade that locks out better, but it's still not really a knife that I like. It does get used. This is the knife. This and the Rat get grabbed when I go outside and do outdoor projects. I'll beat on that one a little bit harder, just because the blade is not set up to be an optimal cutter, whereas the Rat is. So this one gets maintained, that one doesn't. This is another Ozark Trail knife. This is the black flipper knife. This is the least expensive knife with a properly tuned detent. It is not an assisted knife. You can see here, it actually has a really good detent and flipping action. I was amazed by that. I don't use this knife as much, but it's basically just because it gets shoved to the back, but it's basically another beater knife. So moving down to the fourth drawer, I don't think you guys have ever seen this yet, but this is where I keep my current 2 Save Queens and just some other stuff. What's jammed back there is like the Leatherman pocket clip that I didn't like and still have for whatever reason. There's a USA-made blade strop in there. There's the pieces of my broken Minix 2 scales from that video. My old PM2 scales for if I ever decide to change back, I guess. More broken scales. There's a liner and another Hinder scale under there. There it is right there. The black Hinder scale that came off my recent XM. And that's pretty much it for back there. But this is where I keep the Bag Knives Steelcraft series Bodega. This is one of my current Save Queens, and it's a knife that I just love, and I love knowing that it's sitting in here perfect. And yeah, it's kind of cheesy. They both have little beds of DLT Trading exclusive microfiber cloths. That's what those are. They just sit on top of those. It's just kind of it makes me feel good that they both have their own places. And then the Hinder, my current favorite knife of all time, the Hinder XM18 Gen 6 full titanium non-flipper spear point in 20 CV. Boy, that's a lot to say. This guy just sits in the bag, and it's just one of those things where I find comfort knowing that that thing is all sealed up. And I know there's like hardcore knife users out there just rolling their eyes like, why do you have knives that you don't use? I just do. That's just how I am. Next drawer, this is kind of my toolkit drawer. Way in the back is the Lion Steel box with the spare parts for the Lion Steel knife. I just keep it in there just because that thing's got modular hardware setup, a lot like the XM18 tri-way pivot system, except that it's the deployment mechanisms that can come apart. So I just keep them all safely in there. There's also an Allen key way back there for whatever reason. Loctite. I've got this cheap driver set. I've got my primary WIA driver set. This, which actually holds my very first pocket knife ever. I did do a video on this. For whatever reason, it didn't get a lot of views, but if you're curious, you can go back and watch that. That was a knife that my dad gave me that was his pocket knife, and I have kept it all this time. I did lose one of the scales on it when I was a little kid, though. I have another bit set that'll fit any of these if I need that. I do have 2 drivers. But in the event that I need 2 of the same size bit to turn a free spinning pivot or something, or free spinning handle screws, I have more bits. And then I have, this is actually a case to my old pen that was my grandpa's, and that pen sits in at my desk at work. That's just the container for it. And then this is actually a Waterstone 1000 grit Waterstone that I ordered accidentally for the KME. It just sits in there because I'm not sure what to do with it yet, and I'm not a good enough sharpener to really know how to use it. This next drawer you guys are going to find humorous. These are all the spare these are all the spare parts that I've collected over time from, I told you I have owned 22 Hinder knives, and many of them I have customized. So I end up, with lots of stuff like this. Spare parts, spare screws, a lot of titanium anodized stuff. There's some blue handle nuts. I have a whole bunch of stuff like that in there, but I also have like MXG deep carry clips for knives that I ordered accidentally. I've got more, there's a spare pocket clip for cold steel. I don't know where that pocket clip came from. Tons and tons and tons of screws that I've ordered from knife supply websites, just so that if I do strip a screw, I get so frustrated when I strip a screw on a knife and then I don't have a replacement screw. Even if it doesn't match the hardware, I have ordered just about every screw you could imagine that could possibly go in a knife, with different head sizes, common stuff. And then I've ordered some less common stuff, and I don't like being left with an empty screw hole, in a knife for a screw that's been stripped out. So I keep spare hardware in plentiful supply. It should be organized, but it's not. I just have to dig through there. And then the final drawer is just my non-knife related EDC drawer. This is the drawer where there is a knife in there. That's where I keep the Tough Light, which is also kind of an outdoor, job knife. You can see that this actually is in desperate need of sharpening. That edge has been beat into nothingness outside. I keep it in there, I think, just, I don't know, because it's super small. I also keep it in there with the Victorinox Cadet. I have my watch in there. I actually have Jeff's. I'm going to be sending this pry bar and that titanium suspension clip to Jeff. But this is where I keep my my rubberized wedding rings when I'm not wearing this guy. You know, if I'm at the gym or doing something outside. I've got different styles there that I keep. I've got my ETAC flashlight, which I love. I keep that in there. My current EDC pry bar. My nug/bottle opener, which doesn't get carried as much. This is where I keep the Hinder Armorer's tool, which is also serving as my other driver in the event that I need one. And then I've got my Tough Rider pen that Jeff gave to me. This is another gift from Jeff, this flamed copper pen. I generally carry that with me every single day. So that's just kind of a quick grab. You know, what do I need for the day? I open up the bottom drawer and I just grab whatever I need and then close it up. And that's pretty much it. But guys, that is literally everything that I own and how I organize it, you know, for daily use. This thing is really, really convenient. It's built insanely well, and I really enjoy it. By the way, if anybody who hasn't seen, this is what I do my reviews on. It's just a card table, and then I use that light right there and reflect it off of those windows, and it casts down just enough light for it to be, you know, viewable on camera. I don't point that LED directly at this because then it's not something that's fun to view at all. But that's essentially how I do my reviews here. It's just on top of this card table. Over time, I will probably upgrade the lighting and upgrade the table and all that, just because I need to have a better setup, and this table's very, very old. It's just barely able to support the weight of that box. But anyways, the box itself, yeah, I mean, if you can find it online, I definitely recommend that. That's one of the best organizational systems for EDC setup, for EDC that I've seen. I'm almost at the point where I need another one or something else to put hardware and other stuff in so that I've got more room for knives. But that is everything that I own. I hope this was at least slightly entertaining to you guys. I don't know if, you know, if it was enough different from my rotation video that it was all that entertaining, but I thought some people might enjoy watching it. But in any case, if you found this video entertaining, please leave a like. If you'd like to take a look at my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check that stuff out. And if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.